So Aston Villa take a point away from Selhurst Park, drawing 0-0 with Crystal Palace tonight. I think before the game, a number of fans probably would have taken a draw, but it was an opportunity to end this winless run against Crystal Palace, a side who have now failed to win in 8 games in all competitions, 7 home matches in a row that Palace have failed to win in. And of course they have a number of injuries as well. Villa have a few, but Palace have more. And the depth on the bench that Villa had to call on compared to Palace's, I mean, compared to the other sides going for Champions League football, Villa's bench, yeah, there's certainly more youngsters and experience than those, but today Villa did have the strongest squad and they came closest to winning the game for Ollie Watkins relatively late on, hitting the post. I think it's Mike Cash's cross from the right with his left foot, and Watkins heading across goal, so Villa nearly won it. We'll get on to the kind of bits of detail as we go, but just from the outset, I think Villa probably did enough to win the game, and on another day they probably would have won it. Palace themselves, though, had their moments, and I mean, of course they did. It's still Selhurst Park, even though they have struggled here to get wins. It just felt like a bit of a missed opportunity for Villa, but at the same time, having won 11 matches, then lost at Arsenal, then won against Forest, then, well, it's it was a chance for 13 out of 14 for Villa today. 13 wins, of course. They couldn't quite manage it, and today is the first draw since the 1-1 at Sunderland. Pretty sure, because then of course Villa won such a long running run and that ended last week at Arsenal. The good news is that after failing to win today, it's really not changed very much beneath them. Villa have gained a point on Chelsea. They've kept the same distance they had to Manchester United before kick-off today. Man United were playing Burnley, a team who should be in the Championship next season. Villa go to Burnley later on in the campaign, and by then you'd like to think that Villa will be all but in the top 4, top 5 in the Premier League. But there's a long way to go from here, and maybe today's a bit of a reminder that, listen, for as well as Villa are doing, you're still going to come to some places and be put under the cosh. And actually I think they dealt with that well, because there were a few scary moments. Justin Devaney having a great chance when Bizot palmed the ball. Pino's shot, he palmed Pino's shot to his left, but then Devaney was there waiting to score, and it was Luca Dean who came round on the cover and defended excellently well to prevent what would have been an opening goal for Palace, and possibly the only goal of the game as well. There was a few moments like that. Mateta nearly reaching to tap one in. I think it was Brennan Johnson's cross. Kamara also clearing or making a crucial intervention as well in that second half. So from a defensive point of view, while Palace made chances, you would credit Villa's defence that they managed to keep that clean sheet. Keeping a clean sheet in the Premier League away from home especially is there's nothing to overlook. It's probably the big plus from this game. Ollie Watkins coming so close to scoring him, that would have been fourth consecutive game that he would have scored in had that gone in. It didn't quite go in, so yeah, Villa leave here with a point, and actually I think it's one of those where I think we'll all wake up tomorrow, look forward to an FA Cup third round game, get 8,000-9,000 Villa fans down at Tottenham, and you'll look forward, and then it's Everton the weekend after. So this is a bit of a forgettable night, to be perfectly honest with you, and again, for it to be a forgettable night, but Villa haven't lost ground or the space between themselves and 6th place. It's still 11 points. That's a huge buffer, especially going into a home match against Everton, who I think will be without Michael Keane, but Grealish, who was sent off today, I think it was a second yellow card. I think he'll miss the FA Cup match. Haven't checked up on the rules on that, but I'm pretty sure that's the case. But Everton could be without anyway, Njai and a few other players. So Villa coming up against a weakened team there. I think Palace still had a very strong 11 today, and we know Palace are a good side, even though they're being on a bit of a winless run. So again, a point, I think, we said at the start of the season, I think Villa fans would have snatched your hands off for a point at Selhurst Park, bearing in mind they'd lost 9-1 on aggregate, is it, in the last 2 seasons here, 5-0. I mean, that match was a bit of a whatever, final day of the season, wasn't it? But last season Villa lost here 4-1. Still, Emery hasn't beaten Glasner. That's something that goes on, and maybe it goes on this season as well. If Villa can still play Palace in the FA Cup, I don't think anyone wants to see that again. But yeah, my overall thoughts from this is just one of Villa haven't lost ground, and it's another game down for those teams beneath Villa. That it's their ground to make up now. Villa are 8 wins away from exceeding last season's tally by 1 point, so getting 67 points. Villa are 8 wins away from, if my maths is correct, I'm pretty sure that's true. And if that's going to be the target that they go for, I'm sure 67 should get you top 5 this season. There seems to be a lot of traffic beneath Villa. No one really taking hold of that 4th or 5th place. Liverpool obviously play Arsenal on Thursday night. You'd expect Arsenal to win that game, or at least Liverpool failed to win. So for that reason, Villa will stay in 3rd. Again, Everton coming up next. I think they're in a really strong place. And Emery said as much after the match today. We can talk about the season so far. After 21 games, the position that Villa are in is probably the best that they could have hoped for, truth be told, especially after the first 5 games of the season. But then the game itself today, Emery said that it was a game more that Villa could have won than lost, and that's essentially what I said at the start of this video. I think if you played it again, they probably could have won it, but hey, that's how it goes. And again, having won 11, Villa are not in a position where, I don't think anyone's going to wake up, maybe some will, but I don't think everyone will wake up tomorrow morning and think, that's one that really, Villa have let go. Because after you've won so many games in a row in the league as well, obviously not 11 in the league, but was it 8, I think, in the league. Tremendous record, and one which has put them in a really strong position heading into, the final. West of the final into the next few months. And as I mentioned before in different videos, February looks like a month where Villa can churn out some wins, although nothing can be kind of a given, because if you look at Palace, for example, I think, a month ago you would have looked at this game and thought it was an incredibly difficult test for Villa. It's always going to be a difficult game coming here, but at the same time probably more of an opportunity to win here than what it would have been at Ellen Road, for example, considering Leeds' form since Villa have beaten them. So you never know. Bournemouth have won today against Spurs. Villa go to Bournemouth in the not too distant future. So yeah, every game will throw up different challenges, but if Villa can stay consistent as they have been for some time now, they'll be okay. And again, a point here hopefully is just one more point towards where they want to be come the end of the campaign. Emery was furious afterwards, so with referee Andy Madley. He was claiming that VAR didn't look at the possible penalty that Yuri Tielemans could have won late on, being held by Brennan Johnson for a few seconds. He didn't think that was properly checked by VAR, mainly because the game stopped, didn't it, for early in the second half when Brennan Johnson was claiming for a penalty down the other end in that second half, and VAR said no. Like Emery, I was also a bit baffled to what they were checking. Clearly not a penalty. But yeah, Emery a bit baffled by that one and confused and angry as well. So that was the sort of takeaway from him after the game. And then I almost forgot to mention 2 handball claims in the first half as well that Villa had. You just feel like between 2 of those handballs that they claimed for from Tyrick Mitchell, that one of them should have probably been given. But football doesn't work like that, does it? You're not going to get one penalty because of 2 handball situations. But it just felt to me that Villa were probably unlucky not to have been given one of them. I think actually the first one was more so, in my opinion, a penalty, because Mitchell's arm or hand was outstretched, and I'm not totally sure what it was doing there. Whereas the second one, at least from the angle I saw, the only angle, it felt like he was turning his body to get his arm away from the ball, and then it hit it there. But first one, close proximity. But I think Villa were unlucky there. That was John McGinn, of course. Martinez, though, came off at half-time. Bizot replacing him, and yeah, it's getting a bit too many times now, I think. Martinez coming off. It's not helpful, and he's not a player who's had a patched injury record in the last few years playing for Villa, so why is it now? It's frustrating. A calf injury, Emery said after full time, and said that, you know, we'll know more in the next few days, or sorry, he'll obviously have his scan and whatnot, but he said that hopefully he can play again in a few days or weeks, so he doesn't know the severity of it yet. We've had this before, of course, where Martinez has either pulled up in a warm-up and not being able to continue. I think he had a calf injury, or he felt his calf before, during the warm-up against Feyenoord, I think that was a calf. So yeah, I did see him stretch out halfway or so through the first half, doing some stretches on his calf. I thought that was just to maybe protect himself against an injury rather than him actually feeling it at the time. So with that being said, that probably was him feeling something during the game, or maybe he did in the warm-up, I don't know. But either way, too injury prone this season, if that is the case. Not someone who's been reliable in terms of playing full matches either, Martinez, because I don't actually think he's had a bad season. He's been strong in a few matches that Villa have played, but also thrown a few in as well. So a bit of a mixed bag, to be fair. His campaign so far, Martinez, but I think the main sort of point that you'd raise about it so far is that he hasn't been available for anywhere near as many games as what he usually is. Bizzot making his 9th appearance, I think, and he's absolutely a comfortable understudy to Martinez. But at the same time, to make 9 appearances as your deputy keeper, it's with respect to Bizzot, you don't want to be seeing that too often. But yeah, he still played his part in today, keeping a clean sheet. I mean, he did parry the ball out to Devaney when he probably should have done a bit better, and then Johnson's hung up a teasing cross the back post where Bizzot's tried to reach it. I think Mateta might have been climbing on him, not too sure. Maybe had Gay scored that chance if Kamara had not put in a really good tackle on him. Maybe they got ruled out, I don't know. But anyway, not going to go through every single player, but mentioned there the kind of key points in the game, the key action moments, and yeah, probably wrap up here because not a whole lot else to say after a 0-0. And where this leaves Villa again, it's as you were, frankly, and that's a good thing, by the way. So I'm more positive than not after that. I've left here twice before having lost 5-0 and 4-1. Both didn't feel good, even after Villa had qualified for the Champions League. It felt like a bit of a waste of time, to be frank. But this 0-0, we know, is part of a campaign, hopefully, where Villa will be exceeding expectations. And again, a draw at Selhurst Park is not a bad result at any point in the season, in my opinion, especially if you're a Villa side who have lost 5 in 6 before now. 20 months, conceding 19 goals. It was a terrible record before tonight, so it's nice to sort of balance that a little bit. It's not a win, but you can't ask for everything after winning 12 of 13 matches before tonight. Everton at home next, then it's Newcastle away, then it's Fenerbahce. No, it's not. It's Everton, then it's Fenerbahce. Sorry, it's not even that. It's FA Cup first. I need to remind myself of that. Tottenham in the FA Cup, then it's Everton, then it's Fenerbahce, then it's Newcastle, then it's Salzburg, and then I believe it's Brentford. So Villa, with a run of games there that will come thick and fast. It's good to have Powell back in the squad. That's a big positive for tonight as well. And yeah, let's say February. No European games in February, I don't think. As long as Villa get in the top 8 of the Europa League league phase, which they should do from here. Hopefully get the top 2, but that's another video. And then in February you've got matches where you can see wins if Villa play to their best potential and manage to do that. They'll be okay, and I think they'll rack up some wins there. Maybe get hopefully half of the wins that would take them to last season's total, or 1 point more than having claimed a draw here at Selhurst Park. So 8 wins is the target from here for me. That should almost certainly get you in that top 5, notches you into around the 70-point mark. 9 wins would definitely do it. Villa have 8 or 9 home games remaining as well. Really strong at home, we know that. The last team to beat Villa Park was of course Palace. The only club to have beaten Villa since Villa lost to Arsenal on the first home game of last season is Palace. Palace twice, Premier League and League Cup. Anyway, gonna wrap up here. And we'll be back on Claret and Blue. Post-match show will be out already, and then we'll have something of a fan zone or Q&A to follow for you on Thursday night or possibly Friday morning ahead of Villa's trip to Spurs in the FA Cup, and then it's back to Premier League focus next week or the following weekend when Villa host Everton.